I met Harrison through Fred Roos, who told me about this carpenter who was totally disenchanted with Hollywood. But he was a brilliant actor and would be perfect in American Graffiti.
I once worked as a waiter, and I was the world's worst waiter. I understand you worked as a waiter.
Long time, yeah.
But I also heard you had an even more interesting job before as a set designer?
I was not a set designer. In fact, I was a set dresser.
A set dresser?
What if I told you that before lighting up red carpets and breaking the internet, some of your favorite celebrities were just regular folks like us, serving coffee, filing papers, or even cleaning teeth? Yep, before the fame, fortune, and flashing cameras, they were grinding through 9-to-5s, nursing bigger dreams than their paychecks. Imagine sitting in a dentist chair and the hygienist cleaning your teeth turns out to be the future heartthrob of Hollywood. Or buying a sandwich from someone who'd one day win an Oscar. Wow, right? These aren't fairy tales. These are real, raw glow-ups that prove dreams don't come with a roadmap, just grit and a bit of luck. Some of these stories are funny, others are downright inspiring, and a few will make you want to quit your job and audition for a reality show today. So grab your popcorn, because we're diving into 10 jaw-dropping journeys where ordinary jobs turned into extraordinary fame. And trust me, number 3, it'll make you rethink your entire career path. Chris Pratt, from restaurant busboy to Galaxy Guardian. Before becoming the lovable goofball turned superhero in Guardians of the Galaxy, Chris Pratt was just trying to keep his head above water, literally. In his early 20s, Pratt was living in a van in Maui, Hawaii, working as a waiter and a part-time everything, including a discount ticket salesman and even a daytime stripper. Yes, really. But his main gig was at Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, a seafood restaurant where he served tourists and memorized lines from Forrest Gump to entertain guests. It was during one of these ordinary shifts that fate took a wild turn. A Hollywood actress named Rae Dawn Chong came in for dinner, and something about the scruffy, charming waiter caught her eye. She asked if he acted, and naturally he said yes, though he hadn't. Not really. She ended up casting him in a short horror film, and just like that, Chris Pratt's journey to stardom had begun. But it wasn't all smooth sailing. Before the Marvel Universe called, Pratt faced years of rejection, typecasting, and minor roles. He nearly gave up. But with persistence and a sense of humor as big as his biceps, he broke through. And now he's not just guarding the galaxy, he's conquered Hollywood. Talk about going from shrimp to star. Meghan Markle, from briefcase girl to royalty. Before she became the Duchess of Sussex and one of the most talked about women on the planet, Meghan Markle was hustling just like the rest of us, juggling auditions, working side gigs, and trying to make rent in Los Angeles. And one of those side gigs, holding a briefcase on the game show Deal or No Deal. Yep, before royal waves and palace drama, Meghan stood under studio lights in a tight dress, waiting for someone to pick her case. But that wasn't even the most humbling part. Meghan also did freelance calligraphy on the side, handwriting wedding invitations and holiday cards to pay the bills. Imagine that, the future Duchess perfecting her penmanship for strangers while dreaming of landing a real acting role. Her big break came when she landed the part of Rachel Zane on Suits. For 7 seasons, Meghan charmed audiences as the savvy paralegal with style and smarts. Still, no one saw what was coming next, especially not her. In 2016, a blind date set up by a mutual friend changed everything. Enter Prince Harry. A whirlwind romance, a royal wedding, and the rest is modern fairy tale history, complete with controversy, crowns, and a couple that rewrote the rule book. From holding a silver briefcase to holding court with world leaders, Meghan's transformation is nothing short of extraordinary. Her story is a reminder that your in-between jobs don't define you. Sometimes they just set the stage for a royal twist. Harrison Ford, from carpenter to cultural icon. Long before he became Han Solo, Indiana Jones, and one of the most iconic leading men in cinematic history, Harrison Ford was swinging hammers, not whips. In fact, acting was more of a side hustle that wasn't quite hustling. After a few underwhelming roles in the late 60s and early 70s, Ford found himself struggling to pay the bills. So, like many of us do, when dreams don't immediately pay off, he picked up a trade. carpentry. But this wasn't some weekend DIY situation. Ford was a full-time carpenter, building cabinets for Los Angeles elites and occasionally working on film studio sets. Not as an actor, but as a craftsman. One of his clients, George Lucas. Yep, the man who would go on to change Ford's life forever. In a twist of fate that sounds too scripted to be real, Lucas needed someone to read lines with actors auditioning for a little sci-fi movie called Star Wars. Ford stepped in as a favor and completely stole the show. He wasn't even auditioning, just reading lines. But Lucas saw something raw, magnetic, and undeniably cool.
I met Harrison through Fred Roos, who told me about this carpenter who was totally disenchanted with Hollywood. But he was a brilliant actor and would be perfect in American Graffiti. Harrison came to read, and we had a great meeting. Neither of us talked.
The rest, pure hyperspace history. Ford's rise wasn't just luck. It was grit, patience, and a carpenter's steady hand waiting for the right moment. And when it came, he nailed it. Today, Harrison Ford is a Hollywood legend. But behind the fame and fortune is a guy who once wore a tool belt and wondered if the dream was ever going to come true. His story proves that sometimes your big break comes when you least expect it, even when you're just there to install a door frame. Cardi B, from supermarket clerk to rap royalty. Before she was winning Grammys and dropping chart-topping hits, Cardi B was just Bacalus Almanzar from the Bronx, working at an Amish supermarket for $250 a week and dreaming of a life far bigger than the fluorescent aisles and minimum wage paychecks. After getting fired from the supermarket, her former manager gave her some blunt advice. Try exotic dancing. It was a turning point. Cardi took the job not just to make ends meet, but to escape a toxic relationship and regain control of her life. Stripping didn't just pay the bills. It gave her the financial freedom to focus on her true passion, entertainment. With her raw honesty, unfiltered humor, and unmatched confidence, Cardi took to social media and quickly became a viral sensation. Her rants were hilarious, her personality unforgettable, and the internet couldn't get enough. That digital fame landed her a spot on Love and Hip Hop New York, and from there, her rap career exploded. Her debut single, Bodak Yellow, didn't just chart, it dominated. Cardi went from paycheck to powerhouse in just a few short years. Her story is a wild, unapologetic climb from the struggle to the spotlight, and she did it all in her own loud, fearless way. Jon Hamm, from set dresser to suave leading man. Before he was the impeccably dressed Don Dapper in Mad Men, Jon Hamm was anything but slick.
But I also heard you had an even more interesting job before as a set designer.
I was not a set designer. In fact, I was a set dresser.
A set dresser.
In fact, for years, Hollywood didn't want him. He was told he looked too old, wasn't leading man material, and was repeatedly passed over for roles. To survive, he worked as a set dresser for softcore adult films. Yes, really, not exactly glamorous.
A set dresser on.
I guess the most politic term is sort of like Skinamax movies.
Okay.
So like
sort of porn.
Well, not porn. No, very
Cinemax.
different. There's
Okay.
a huge chasm between.
Okay.
Chasm's
So
a
sort of
terrible
a
word
huge-
to use.
yeah, chasm's not a good-
We don't really want to talk about chasms.
Is that a fetish specialty video?
I have
the huge
no idea.
chasms? Sort of like soft focus, soft
Yeah,
filtered,
yeah.
tasteful.
Oh no,
Very.
nothing tasteful about it. It was, it was depressing.
Is there a
Hamm moved to Los Angeles with $150 in his pocket and a beat-up car, sleeping on his friends' couches while trying to land acting gigs. At one point, he even worked as a high school drama teacher. Ironically, some of his students would get cast before he did. But Hamm didn't give up. After years of rejections and odd jobs, he finally landed the role that changed everything. As Don Dapper, he embodied charm, complexity, and that elusive it factor Hollywood had once denied him. His breakout came not in his 20s like many stars, but in his mid-30s, proof that persistence pays off. Hamm's story isn't just about fame, it's about not giving up when everyone else says no. From dressing sets to stealing scenes, he's a reminder that sometimes your big break just needs time to find you. Eva Menendez. from burger flipper to big screen beauty. Before she was gracing magazine covers and starring in Hollywood blockbusters, Eva Menendez was flipping burgers at a local fast food joint in Glendale, California. Her early life was far from glamorous. She was raised in a working-class Cuban-American household, and Eva had dreams bigger than her paycheck, but no clear roadmap to get there. She briefly studied marketing in college, but felt uninspired. Then came a twist of fate. A friend of hers was a photographer and asked Eva to model for his portfolio. And just like that, the doors to Hollywood cracked open. But it wasn't a red carpet right away. Her early roles were minor, blink and you'll miss her appearances in low-budget films and music videos. Still, Eva kept at it, slowly building her resume and sharpening her craft. Her breakout came in Training Day alongside Denzel Washington, and suddenly, everyone wanted to know who she was. From greasy uniforms to glamorous gowns, Eva Menendez's rise to fame is a true underdog story. She didn't just climb the ladder, she built her own. And in doing so, she proved that sometimes all it takes is one photo, one chance, and the courage to say yes. Jeremy Renner, from makeup artist to Marvel Avenger. Before he picked up a bow and arrow as Hawkeye in the Avengers franchise, Jeremy Renner was holding makeup brushes, not weapons.
I moved down to LA with the job as a makeup artist for a good 8 years.
So you were skilled as a makeup artist. Presumably you trained a little bit for that.
Yeah.
Did you do like fancy makeup, or was it like film makeup, like for?
No, it's more like street makeup.
Struggling to make ends meet in Los Angeles, Renner became a professional makeup artist. Why? Because it paid the bills and gave him flexibility to attend auditions. Plus, he was actually good at it. But don't let the glam fool you. Renner's grind was anything but easy. He worked odd jobs, flipped houses with friends to survive, and slept in one of those homes while it was under renovation. He poured everything into acting, often taking gritty, low-budget indie roles that barely paid, but gave him room to grow. His dedication paid off in The Hurt Locker, where his performance earned him an Oscar nomination and serious Hollywood attention.
Jeremy Renner is here, everybody. Great to see you. Best Supporting Actor nominee for The Town 2 years in a row at the Oscars.
From there, it was a quick leap into the Marvel Universe, starring alongside the biggest names in the business. Jeremy's journey proves that there's no right path to success. Sometimes it involves eyeliner and drywall before red carpets and supersuits. He's living proof that hard work, patience, and a few unexpected detours can still lead to center stage, even if you start behind the makeup counter. Whoopi Goldberg, from bricklayer to EGOT legend. Before Whoopi Goldberg became one of the few performers to earn an EGOT, which is basically bagging an Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, and Tony, she was anything but famous. In fact, she worked some of the most unexpected jobs just to survive, including as a bricklayer. Yep, hard hat, mortar, and all. She also worked as a mortuary cosmetologist, applying makeup to the deceased. Talk about having nerves of steel. Born Karen Johnson, Whoopi faced poverty, single motherhood, and addiction, but she had something you can't teach: raw talent and fearless authenticity. Her big break came when she created a one-woman show full of eccentric characters that caught the attention of director Mike Nichols and eventually Steven Spielberg. Spielberg cast her in The Color Purple, a role that earned her an Oscar nomination and launched her into the Hollywood stratosphere. From there, Whoopi became a household name through hits like Ghost, Sister Act, and The View. Her journey is wild, emotional, and a little gritty, just like her comedy. From laying bricks to building an entertainment empire, Whoopi's story proves you can rise from anything if you got talent, grit, and the guts to be unapologetically yourself. Danny DeVito, from hairdresser to Hollywood icon. Before becoming one of Hollywood's most beloved and unmistakable characters, Danny DeVito was wielding scissors, not scripts. Fresh out of high school, DeVito trained as a hairdresser, even working at his sister's beauty salon. It wasn't exactly glamorous, but it paid the bills and kept him close to people, which ironically turned out to be great practice for acting. But hair wasn't his passion. DeVito longed to be on stage. On a whim, he applied to study makeup at the American Academy of Dramatic Arts. However, the acting program caught his eye, and he decided to give it a shot. Turns out, the man had serious chops. He started out in theater, taking minor roles, working odd jobs, and living that classic struggle actor lifestyle. Then came his breakout role as the loud, scheming dispatcher Louis De Palma in Taxi. The performance won him an Emmy and a permanent place in pop culture. From there, DeVito went on to build a wildly versatile career in film, TV, and producing. His unique look, razor-sharp timing, and fearless comedic style made him unforgettable. DeVito proves you don't need to look like a leading man to become a legend. You just need talent, hustle, and a little bit of crazy charm. Jennifer Lopez. From backup dancer to global powerhouse. Before she was J-Lo, the multi-talented icon who dominates music, film, fashion, and the Super Bowl halftime stage, Jennifer Lopez was just a girl from the Bronx chasing a nearly impossible dream. With no famous connections or shortcuts, she started out as a backup dancer, performing behind big names while quietly plotting her own rise. One of her early breaks came as a fly girl dancer on the sketch comedy show In Living Color, but even then, she wasn't satisfied. Lopez wanted more acting roles, singing careers, and headlining tours.
And I see myself, I seem like...
And when she told people she could do it all, most laughed. They said she had to choose one path. Good thing she didn't listen. Jenny's breakthrough came with her leading role in Selena, which catapulted her into acting stardom. Then came her music debut, and she crushed that too. From The Block to Billboard, from rom-com to red carpets, she transformed herself into a one-woman empire, fueled by grit, ambition, and unshakable self-belief. Today, she's not just famous, she's unstoppable. But her journey from dancing in the background to owning the spotlight reminds us all of one thing. If Jennifer Lopez can turn a backup role into global stardom, what's stopping you? Let us know in the comment section below. And that's it from us today. Until next time, thank you for watching.